Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for watching. It's a hot day out today. Figured I'd bring something a little different to the channel, and that's because of this car sitting to my right, your left. This is a 2007 Shelby GT500, and guys, I got it parked next to my 2013 Mustang GT here, and they're both considered S197 platforms. Something interesting to kind of talk about. Now, you guys know I'm not really a car reviewer, and in regards to what I usually do on YouTube, this is going to be quite a bit different. I want to talk about these first gen Shelby GT500s. Now, of course, you guys know 2007 is when it first came out, and at the time they were the bee's knees. They were supercharged, essentially supercharged 5.4 liter iron block, and they were essentially the new version of the SVT Cobra. SVT was still around at the time, and you can see on the center caps on a lot of these they'll say SVT. It's because the SVT program was still around at the time. So what I really want to talk about today is would you consider buying a first gen GT500? Now there's of course a lot more faster stuff out there these days, and considering how fast my Mustang GT is compared to one of these right now as it sits, this car in stock form versus this car the way it sits down, this car could probably run circles around it. And this one has the really long gears, but mine has 373s. It just feels peppier. These cars just kind of feel kind of sluggish, kind of like dogs. They do have a good amount of download torque, but they kind of, they just don't feel like they're moving very fast because they're heavy too, and they are what they are. But something to think about, with car prices the way they are right now and certain collectible cars, even though like I could make more horsepower with this car versus this car with the same kind of modifications, technology is a little bit nicer in this one being a Coyote versus the old 5.4 liter. But in the end, if it's something that's going to be collectible, a Shelby is going to be more collectible, of course, versus a GT. So something that's going to hold its value, and you can kind of get these cars at kind of a bargain price right now. The more desirable GT500s are of course the 11 to 12 and 13 14, with the 13 14 being of course the last year before the new 2020 model year, and the last one you can get in a manual transmission, of course. Now, there is a lot of nice things still about these cars, a lot of desirable features on them and stuff along those lines. And of course, a lot of it's still to be desired, and even these cars are both S197s. My 2013's interior, it seems to be much nicer than this one. Now, of course, mine has the Recaro seats. This one has standard seats, even though they are Shelby seats. They have the snake logo in the middle. This one does have a TR6060 transmission versus my NT82. The transmission does feel pretty good in this one. The clutch is way heavier in this one versus this one, even in stock form before I switched out the clutch. But again, mostly what we're going to be talking about, and of course the main thing is the power plants. Having a Coyote versus the 5.4 supercharged. Now, there's things you can still do to these cars to make them pretty darn quick. And I have a unique opportunity here. This is actually not my car, but of course I have a unique opportunity where I work to sometimes have to work on customer vehicles for tuning and data logging, especially if they get modified. Now, there is a laundry list of things that is done to this car, but it came to us in stock form. Only has 7,000 miles on it, and pretty much a cream puff. It's pretty much completely just as it came out of the factory. So I'm going to take you guys on a little tour. I'm not going to take you for a drive in this car. Again, it is a customer car, and right now what I'm doing is I'm actually kind of breaking in the engine. That's right, it's got a new engine in it. The engine wasn't blown in this car, but the customer had some requests, and he wanted to be able to handle a good amount of power, and also some things under the hood that have been added to increase the power. So it's actually a pretty nice package. But I'll give you guys a tour of the engine bay and the car and stuff along those lines. And yeah, I just figured it's something to kind of talk about right now, especially when people are looking for desirable collectible Mustangs at this moment. And these are kind of like the ones that kind of get swept under the rug, and for good reason. They weren't the best, compared to out of all the S197 setups. You can get ones with better interiors, better seats and stuff along those lines, and of course better power plants. But again, it's still going to be something that's going to retain some value, and it can still be modified. So let me go ahead and pop the hood on this car here and show you guys what's been added, kind of explain a little bit, and we'll wrap this thing up. Alright, I'm going to pop the hood on the Shelby GT500 here. Alright, there we go. Okay, as you can tell, this thing is no longer stock. It no longer has the stock small blower on it. This has the infamous VMP Gen 3R, and it also has the supporting components on their kit. Upgraded fuel system components like fuel injectors, booster, and cold air kit. Now, another special thing about this vehicle is the new power plant that's in it. This one actually has a built short block with the stock heads and stock cams. It has forged pistons, forged crank, forged connecting rods, and a new freshly cleaned up block. And so therefore, that's why I'm not driving this thing. That's why I'm not beating it up for you guys today. We are breaking this thing in so that way we can put it on the dyno. Now, of course, we've installed a few VMP components on other vehicles at the shop there at Anderson Ford Motorsport, and these cars will generally make about 650 horsepower conservatively on 93 pump gas. This one does actually have some more goodies on it here. See if I can show you guys. It's a little dark. I don't know if you can see back there. Yeah, you can kind of see it. This does have the Kooks long tubes on it. Sorry that you can't really see too much of it. It's kind of buried in there with the cylinder heads being so massive in this engine bay. It does have Kooks long tubes, catted X-pipe on it, and you know, it's a nice simple street setup. It's still on 93 octane, so it's something that, you know, you can still modify, and roughly it should make around 650 to 675 with the long tubes and stuff. We'll see. I'll be sure to share with you guys down the road. You can check out Anderson Ford Motorsport's YouTube channel. That's where I usually post a lot of the dyno videos and stuff. But this is a pretty cool, pretty fun, stout street setup. Again, the engine's still being broken right now. I got about 100 miles on it since we've put it back together. Starts up, it runs great. It's got a quiet set of mufflers on it. I'll have you guys listen to it here when I start it up. So yeah, you can still take these first gen GT500s, build them up a little bit, have some fun. It's not going to be the fastest thing on the road. There's always going to be someone that's faster. But again, it's something that you can kind of get for a bargain right now. Something that maybe you would consider if you want a collectible car that's not going to break the bank completely. Throw a few simple modifications on it and go make your 600 to 650 rear wheel horsepower. Have fun. Alright, let's go ahead and start it up for you so you can see what this thing sounds like. See, it's not too rowdy. It does have a nice deep tone with the Kooks headers and the catted mid-pipe. Engine is running nice and smooth. You guys have a full look at this thing. Very nice, very clean car. Show you guys the interior real quick. Okay. And as you guys can see here with this plastic, I'll go ahead and move it out of the way. And it's just got the standard seats with the, of course, the Shelby logos up here, snake embroidered into the seat. It's a very comfortable seat, but doesn't have much for bolstering, so it's not like as sporty as I guess you could say as like the Recaros there in my 13 GT. You definitely tell it's an '07. And we do have part of the interior taken apart because, and you can see the wideband gauge over there, because we are data logging and, you know, tuning this vehicle with the help from our friends at VMP, since this is their kit. It's very nice car. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that little tour going around this 2007 Shelby GT500. As you can see, with the modifications that it's got done to it, it should be a nice, fun street vehicle. Should make some pretty decent power. And again, it's something that you guys can probably get yourselves into for not nearly as much money as it costs for some of the more desirable GT500s out there, but still to make a good amount of power to have some fun with. And I know this video is a little bit different than other content you've seen from me in the past, and sometimes when I get the opportunity to look at some cool customer vehicles, I'll be sure to bring those to you guys, especially if you're interested to see more. So guys, that's pretty much going to be a wrap for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like my content, please like, please share, and subscribe. Be sure to hit the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any new content coming to the channel. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.